Welcome to Gadgets for Families, the tech podcast for those that always plan on September being the busiest tech support month and sometimes have to leave that shiny new iPhone in the box while trying to help their clients navigate the new OS updates, set up new phones, etc. Jason, we never experienced that in the corporate world, did we?
Oh, all the time.
Yep. And those that really want to learn more about the new OS or the new phone they just got. So this is for all of you. And anyone else looking to get more out of life through tech, I'm your host, Greg Cunningham.
And I'm your host, Jay Benjamin.
Well, let's talk about a few tiny tips then. And one of them may be a little bit more than tiny, but that's okay. But Jason, do you remember haptic touch? 3D touch?
Yeah. So I remember the feature because it was some new fancy screen. I forget which model it was. It was some new fancy screen that they had. And they had, what was it, peek and pop? You can press lightly on the screen and then you press firmly on the screen. And then they figured out, hey, we can just do that with software. We can do this on every screen. So now even all of the devices have some kind of version of that. You know what I mean? Where you can just tap and it pops up a
Yeah.
little menu and you. So it was kind of gimmicky, but I do remember it.
I really liked it, right? And because it was something about the fact that my screen wasn't moving, but it felt like my screen was sinking in once I pressed hard enough, right? And so
Right.
what they replaced that with is haptic touch, which just gives you a little buzz that says, yep, I'm going to peak or pop or whatever the case may be. But
Right.
in iOS 17, and I've gone in and turned this on and I am loving it again. If you go into accessibility and go to touch and haptic touch, they've got a new setting for touch duration. And they've got a default that's in the middle, then they've got a slow, and they've got a fast. And if you turn it, if you tap on fast, you can actually test in that setting. You can actually test and see how quickly it's going to peak and pop. It feels almost just like the old haptic touch because it's that responsive. So, yeah, I'm loving it. So there's my tip. I'll do a short on it or try to do a short on it and show folks how to turn that setting on. But yeah, it feels like the old 3D touch, which I really, really miss. So
Yeah. And then we kind of needed it when we got rid of that physical home button, right? It made that little piece of glass feel like an actual button. So I say it was kind of gimmicky, but you're right. It was a really cool feature.
Yep. All right. And then number 2, I didn't know you could do this, but I'll talk about my AirPods Pro saga a little bit later. But I ended up going to Best Buy, and I didn't know this. I saw this in an article and I tested it out. You can actually trade AirPods in at Best Buy. Which
so
I was
wanted to get some more info on this.
Yeah.
Let's hear how it works.
So basically it's the same thing as if you were doing a trade in an Apple on a phone or something like that. You go in and you put the order in for the AirPods and it says, do you have a device you want to trade in? And it has a whole list, so it doesn't have to just be AirPods. But anyway, I chose Apple and then it gave me the different models of AirPods and I picked mine. And then it does the same thing everybody else says. It asks you questions. The only question that's unique with them, it's are they scratched? Do they turn on? Do they charge? Blah, 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 blah. But the only question that's unique is if the charging stuff is included, the original charging. So like the cable that came with it, they never come with bricks anymore, right? So it's just really the cable that comes with it. If you say no on the cable, it's out. They won't give you anything.
Really?
Nope.
Wow. And they want the original one.
Well, I guess.
Like they don't want your Amazon knockoff charger. They want the Apple charger.
Yep.
Wow.
So, but anyway, it ranged from, if it was decent shape, $26. If it was in excellent shape, it was $40 trade in for my AirPods Pro first generation. So, I didn't know you could do it. If you're looking to upgrade and want to trade them in, then maybe that's something that you want to do. And I didn't. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I think my daughter's going to take mine from me. And she's like, yeah, I want them, but I can't pay a whole lot for them. I'm like, Best Buy was going to give me $40. She's like, oh yeah, I can do that. So
yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, $40 I think it's really good for, a pair of Gen 1 AirPods. So
yeah, 2.5-year-old AirPods Pro. So
yeah, $40.
Yep. And then my last tip, and then Jason, I know you have a little bit bigger one, but my last tip is just a reminder about how powerful the Find My app is. So I had to use it twice this morning. It was really funny. I'm getting ready to come on to start recording the podcast, and I hear our Ring doorbell. and we've got
Hmm.
a electronic door lock, right? And so you can always hear the gears grinding when somebody opens it. And
Right.
I look down and it's my wife coming in, and she's like, I can't find my phone. And so she's like, I can't get my watch to connect. And so, she's looking all over the place. And I just open my phone and I go into Find
Hmm.
My, because I can see all of her devices because she's on my family thing. And I say, okay, well, it's here. It's
Yeah.
here in the house somewhere. So then we just
Okay.
have to find it. And so I was playing a sound and she goes, oh, maybe I left it in the closet when I was getting my clothes. And that's where she had put it. So it was in there. So that
Okay.
was
Okay.
great. And she walks out the door, and I swear it wasn't 30 seconds later that I look on my nightstand and my AirPods Pro, my current ones, are not there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, where did I put those? And I had been sitting out in my hammock the night before. I looked on every place that I could find them. And so I thought, okay, forget this. I'm going to use Find My. And so I pull Find My up,
Hmm.
and I'm in my bedroom, and I pull it up and it says they're near. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. Now, on the first gen AirPods Pro, when you play a sound, there's nothing that comes out. The second gen have a speaker on the case, so it would
Hmm.
actually play a sound. But mine, it said it was playing sounds, but it's just playing them in the earbuds because
Right.
they're in the case, right? So not going to hear the sound, but it says I'm close. And so I thought, okay, did I put him in my office? So I'm holding my phone, right, like a metal detector kind of thing, or
Yeah.
a tricorder. We'll call it a tricorder.
Yeah.
And I'm walking in my office, and it says, oh, signal weakening farther away. So I walk back into the bedroom, and I walk on the other side of the bedroom, and it's like signal weakening farther away. So eventually, what I realized is that the signal was strongest right in my doorway.
Okay.
And behind my door is our laundry basket. And I had put my
Oh.
AirPods in the pockets of my cargo shorts that I was wearing yesterday, and I forgot to
Yeah.
take them out. So they were in the laundry basket. So if you don't use Find My when you're missing this kind of stuff, you really need to do that. And this is just
Yeah.
another one of the reasons. I was talking to somebody on Sunday afternoon. They are mostly in the Android ecosystem, and I was saying, yeah, I'm in Apple, and at this point I don't know how I would ever get out of the Apple ecosystem, considering everything, right? And that's
Right.
just another part of the ecosystem that I go, oh, I can find any of our stuff. I've got
Yeah.
my Now I've got my AirTag shared between my wife and I. That was iOS 17. So
Hmm.
it's just another reason. So if you don't you need to get familiar with Find My before you need it,
Yes.
right? Figure out how to
Yeah.
use it now before you lose something really important and need to track it down. And remember that if you're
Right.
in a family group, other members of the family can see your stuff. So, like with my wife having
Right.
lost her phone, she could have gone to her iPad and looked at it, but I happen
Yes.
to have my phone in my hand, so I just look it up for her.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was our tip before, like episode 3 or something like that. Don't wait till you lose your phone to figure out how to be able to track it. Right. Everyone knows, oh, if I lose my phone, I can just track it. But what if you only have a phone? Then how do you do things like that? Right.
Right.
Get familiar with the website, go onto iCloud.com and being able to use these things. So yeah, yeah, don't wait. And thankfully you found them before that load went into the washer, right?
Yeah. 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 Who knows? So,
All right. So the last tip I got, I received an email from Apple on Sunday, and basically it was just about some expanded protections and things that they enabled for screen time and things like that. So if you didn't receive the email, or if you don't use the service is really good. It's basically parental controls, right? Apple doesn't call it parental controls; they call it screen time, and it allows you to do things like monitor some usage and stuff on your children's device or your client's device, because it's not necessarily just for your your little children. It's for any device in your family group, right? So um, some of the things that they enabled were some web content restrictions, and this is going to prevent kids from accessing adult websites and things like that. And Greg and I, we had plenty of conversations about that. I would do it at the router level at from my home, um, just to prevent it from coming in. There's mostly the accidental stuff, because I do talk to my son about um, viewing things, inappropriate content and stuff, especially around uh, um, his nieces, nephews, his younger sister, and stuff like that. Um, but now you can do it at the device level. Well, Apple will allow this to be done at the device level. So You can also add in additional websites and things like that that you want to be blocked. Um, but definitely, if those websites are being accessed or whatever, you'll get a notification about that. Also, screen distance. There was a lot of studies that's been done over the last few years, and what they found are kids are holding their screens too close to their face. Right? Apple recognized this. They recognize all of the studies, and um, part of their push with health and things like that, one of the things was the screen distance and your phone being able to notify you if you're holding the screen too close to your face, whether you're trying to go to bed at night in the evenings or your kids are, just doing their homework or their daily activities. If they're holding the screen too close, they'll get a notification. You'll get a notification about that. Um, and the last one is communication safety. Now, Greg and I mentioned last week about um, being able to share your contact poster and stuff, will people be, including inappropriate content and stuff in that? Well, Apple, because they listened to the show, they heard
Yeah,
us,
yeah, right.
and they rushed and they created uh, uh, part of the new safety features is the communication safety, and it's going to detect things like that. It's also going to detect if your children are sending inappropriate content or receiving inappropriate content from their friends, because this is always the thing. With my family, we have this conversation almost weekly. It's kind of strange. My son has some kids who parents aren't as strict as we are. I'll just leave it at that. So I always have to give them that constant reminder that even though this is your age group, it's still illegal to have nudity and stuff like that. Even though you're a minor, it's still and again, now we'll get notifications if they're sending or receiving that through text message, AirDrop, FaceTime, if those pictures are in their camera roll. And like Greg and I said last week, those contact posters that you can now share with people if they create their own contact poster. They want to get a notification, and it says here he will receive some helpful information on how to better protect himself from that from Apple, and I will also get a notification that he received that. So definitely, folks, if you're not using FaceTime or screen time to monitor these devices and stuff like that, then it may be something you should look into now. If you're a parent and you're concerned about stuff like that, um, like I said, we have these type of conversations almost weekly with the group of friends my son runs with. So uh, if you're in the same situation that I am with the middle schooler, then look into screen time. They're expanding the protections that they've along with all the other cool features that they have that you can use to protect your family better. So really cool feature. I thought it was a really good addition that they added.
Well, and this is a good time. We always put this disclaimer, right? Jason and I have very definite opinions on this stuff
Yeah,
and about
yeah,
how to manage it and what we want to do for our families. And you absolutely have to decide what's right for you
yes,
and your kids. My biggest thing that I think every parent should do, regardless of where they fall on this stuff and what they decide to do and what not to do, is have conversations with their kids, right?
yeah,
And
yeah. Definitely
have
talk
that
about it.
communication, talk about it, make sure everybody's on the same page. So we're not here to tell you how to parent. We're telling you what we do, what we like, and the
Exactly.
tools that are available.
Yeah, yeah. So but that was all. That was my tip for this week. That was all we had. Did you have anything else?
Nope, I think we're good.